Hello, I'm Bill McLaughlin, and I'm a psychotherapist and a certified iRest instructor. I'm going to be posting a few of these instructional videos on how to do the practice of iRest meditation. iRest is a guided meditation. It's very simple, but very powerful for coping with overwhelming stress from our outside world and from our inside world. Um, As I said, I'm a psychotherapist. All of my practice, I work exclusively with public service professionals who have post-traumatic stress disorder. Um, that includes military, veterans, law enforcement, correctional officers, other public service professionals who will benefit from this meditation, shelter workers, child protection workers, healthcare providers, especially in this current time. We find ourselves worked. Our work with the public services is stressful enough, but when you add the current situation of the pandemic, well, it's going to add up on us a lot more. So I'll be posting a number of these instructional videos with recordings so people can learn to do the practice. You can download the recordings. To do the practice, it's very simple. You will download the recordings onto an electronic listening device with earbuds. To do the practice, you find somewhere you won't be disturbed. Throw in your earbuds and just follow the voice. iRest is a guided meditation, and all we're doing is really taking time to learn how to manage, be with, and sit with our emotions, thoughts in a nice meditative state. So again, you're going to, make sure you're not going to be disturbed when you do the practice. Throw your headset in. The other thing is our body position. You want to make yourself a nice little comfortable nest to lay down so your head is supported, your neck and your lower back. Ideally with your chin below the forehead and your forehead above your heart. So a pillow behind your head and maybe a pillow under your knees to support your lower back and a blanket over top of you so you stay nice and warm. Today I'm going to just talk briefly about two aspects of iRest to get you started. The first one is body sensing. So a big part of the practice, every time we do the practice, we go through 10 levels of consciousness. Just as Tai Chi practitioners do that same 108 moves every time to slow down and strengthen the body, well, with iRest, we do the same 10 levels of consciousness every time to slow down the mind and strengthen our mind, to help us be more resilient in the face of stress, to help us have an inner world of calm no matter what's going on. I've been doing the practice myself now for approximately 10 years. I've been leading clients in it for that same amount of time and running groups. And I don't think there's anything more beneficial to us as public service professionals than learning the skill. Every time you do the practice, you're asked to consider three things. What's your heartfelt desire? Meaning, what do you want out of your life? And you're asked to state it concisely and in a present tense. So even if you feel overwhelmed, not well, if what you want in life is to be happy and healthy, then it is, I am happy and healthy. Then we go to our intention. Every time we do the practice, we can pick an intention, whether it's I'm healing from my depression, or I love my family loves me, or I sleep deeply and rest. Whatever you need for today. Again, in the present tense, simply stated, I do sleep deeply and dream, even if you're struggling at the moment. Then we come to one of the things I'm going to highlight today, which is our inner resource. You know, in slang terms, our happy place. But more than that, we want to pick an inner resource as somewhere we go to in our meditation where we feel secure and at ease. So it can be a place, a person, a thing. But being mindful, we want to pick somewhere, or even if it's imagined, where we can engage all of our senses. Really, what we're doing with meditation is rewiring ourselves from the inside out. Our external world will always wire us to think in worst case scenarios, and because in our jobs we see it every day. So we need to balance that out with being able to have an available, calm, collected place to be inside our bodies. So the inner resource, we want to pick something with a multisensory image, something that draws upon all the senses. Some of my clients will use fishing. So if that's the case, it's the smell of the water, the feeling of the breeze on your face, maybe the sound of the water's lap against the hull. If it's a favorite aunt from your childhood, well, maybe the pattern on her dress for your visual image, the smell of her baking, the sound of her voice, the smell of the perfume she wore all the time. So we always want to engage our senses in developing that inner resource. And you think about it as something you cultivate every time you do the practice. That means you expand it a little more. In between sessions, you think, oh, what's another sensation that comes along with that image? It can be as simple as the first time you noticed a beautiful sunset. Or it can be an imaginary room full of your favorite things. So that's our inner resource. And then for integrative restoration, that's what iRest stands for, is Integrative Restoration Techniques. Body sensing is the main gateway to getting into the meditative state. As you follow the recording, we go through the whole body scan, but most importantly, we're not trying to visualize the body. So I'll take you through a simple exercise. Hold your right hand up and look at it. When we visually perceive our hand, you'll notice everything is very defined. The length of our fingers, the little wrinkles across our palm, everything's there and we visualize it. Now, if you'll indulge me and close your eyes, and don't visualize your hand, but just try and sense and feel it. You'll notice it's a very different experience. Our fingers could be 4 inches long or 2 inches long. And you begin to notice there's a certain radiance or energy around the hand. And now if you'll hold up your left hand and put your attention there to feel and sense it. Now back to the right, not visualizing, just trying to feel and experience. You may even notice a slight pulsation in the palm. Now try and feel them at the same time. Good, thank you. And that is what we're talking about when we do our body scan and body sensing. We're just following along the voice and trying to experience the body as we go through the sensations that are there, whatever's going on in that particular part of the moment. Now, as you start the practice, you're going to notice you get distracted by different things, thoughts, things will come up, but you just do your best to come back and attend to the voice and experience it. Then we go into breathing, a little bit of breath work, counting our breathing backwards. Every breath, discharging tension. And then we go into the opposites, feelings, then emotions, then beliefs we may have about ourselves or the world. Locating them in the body, moving back and forth between the opposites. But the main things I want to really focus on for this brief video are that inner resource and body sensing. For beginners, those are the two important things. Remember, not visualizing the body, actually trying to sense and feel. The inner resource, something we cultivate all the time. Where do we feel secure and at ease in life? You pick your own, but being mindful that we're looking for somewhere with lots of sensory input. Because what we are doing is creating a space in ourselves where no matter what's happening on the outside world, we can check in with my inner resource and go into that calm, secure, and at ease feeling, momentarily even, and then go back to deal with whatever we may be dealing with at the time. So do your best. It's simple. Relinquish any attempt to control your experience when you do the practice. Put the headset in and just follow along to begin with. Okay? A little bit of consideration to those two things to start with, the inner resource, body sensing, and see what happens. I'll be posting a relaxing practice about 14, 15 minutes long, and then a full practice approximately 31, 32 minutes. I recommend if you're having difficulty sleeping at night, either getting to sleep or staying asleep, to use the short relaxing practice. The longer practice I recommend if you're still on the job out there, taking on your lunch hour to do a half-hour meditation. Making time every day to take a half hour to do this meditation. I'll challenge you to do 30 days in a row and tell me that you aren't feeling a bit better, no matter how stressed or overwhelmed you are with your work or your condition. Be mindful that, people sometimes think the aspect of meditation is, airy, fairy, whatever. But the reality is the hardest warriors in the world, whether it be Shaolin monks or the samurai, get that way through meditation. And as well, that's how they retire and learn how to calm down. Samurai warriors spent their lives after they stopped, if they lived through their lives, arranging flowers and meditating every day. We need to be able to calm. Our jobs train us to deal with all sorts of difficult situations. But what they don't train us to do is to turn it off the minute we walk in the door at home, or the minute we want to get out and be with other people. Shutting those threats off that we unconsciously gather through the day, through the weeks, through the years, and those overwhelming experiences. It takes skill. So that's my introduction to iRest meditation for public service professionals. I'll be posting videos every couple weeks to go along with the different aspects of those 10 levels of consciousness and how you use them. Feel free to send an email along if you have questions, and I'll try and address them in these videos. Thank you very much. And once again, it's Bill McLaughlin, psychotherapist and iRest instructor. Take care of yourselves and enjoy the practice.